Paul Morrow here. We're back with our Superstar Grandparents series. I'm really happy to be joined by Phil and Barb McGuire today.
Nice
How are
to
you guys
be here.
doing?
How you doing?
Thank you.
Yeah, we're doing great.
Thanks for the invite.
Listen, you earned it because we are doing interviews on all three of the books, and we've been completing some Superstar Grandparent stories. I think we're going to get some great stories out of this today because the McGuires have a little bit of history we've been sharing about our friends north of the 48 parallel. So tell me a little bit about your family history, Phil. I think you have a connection to Canada.
I do. So I'm very big into Ancestry.com as we talked about. And as it turns out, I have a big Nova Scotia. All of my mother's father's people came from Nova Scotia, right back, and tracked them right back to the Indian connection that we had, which was actually the goal that I had. But yeah, we're looking forward to going up and trying to get a little more detail on all of that.
I just came back and I stopped at the Alexander Graham Bell Museum in Baddeck, Nova Scotia, probably one of the best visits you'll ever make.
Wow.
We did a little YouTube about it. It's incredible when you think about super famous people, right, and everything they accomplish. He was one of the most insecure guys in the world. He wrote letters to his mom saying, I hope people don't think of me as a one-hit wonder because I just invented the telephone. Right? Okay,
Wow.
So Barb, where's your family from?
Russia.
Russia? Where?
I don't know.
You don't know? You haven't done that Ancestry.com research yet?
It's almost. We just don't. We stop. Like at my grandparents, we just stop. So there's not a lot to investigate, really.
Yeah, I
I
know.
just really haven't delved into that as much. It's a much more difficult research
Well,
than the rest of the Ireland and the England and
Canada was not so easy. I know, so Linda just became a U.S. citizen after being here 30 years, right? We've been married for a long time. And in order for her to become a U.S. citizen, they did a lot of deep research and couldn't find a birth certificate.
Oh my goodness.
And the reason was her parents were both in the Canadian Royal Air Force, and they went from base to base to base to base. And somewhere around 1953, she was born at a military base, and at that time, pre-computers, pre-digital, pre-scan. Guess what the birth certificates looked like for military babies? 3x5 cards in a cardboard box.
Wow.
Wow.
And we actually had to hire an investigator guy. They would not allow her to get citizenship till they found that little card in the basement of a building in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very cool. So
Awesome.
my wife is happily a U.S. citizen now. So, so that's like the background part. And then how did you guys meet?
When I was 16.
I want the real version, Barb.
Yeah.
I don't want no.
This
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
true.
I don't want the
When I was
Disneyland
16,
version.
I got a job at Stop and Shop, and Phil was already working there as a bag boy, and he would do displays, handicap displays, and I would be a cashier.
In
And he would-
Massachusetts?
Oh yeah,
Oh.
Wakefield.
where we both were
Wakefield.
brought.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he had just graduated. I was a senior in high school. I was 16, and he would drive up in his '57 Chevy, green '57 Chevy.
Great
Wow.
car.
I would.
That's
feel,
a nice memory.
I would feel. I'd get all red and oh my God, but he was very, very shy.
Yeah, I was a shy kid.
So after about 5 months, I was on student council in high school. So we had a girl, it was called Twerk Twirl, and it was Girl Ask Boy. So I asked him if he would go with me. After he was leaving, that he brought me home, Johnny Mathis dancing in my living room type of thing.
All right.
When he was leaving,
Was he a good dancer?
yeah.
Oh, okay, good. I know.
When he was leaving, he said, "What do you do on Saturday nights?" And I said, "Nothing."
And that was
been
it.
every Saturday night since then, March 5th, 1966.
Wow, that's a cool memory.
Yeah.
And the rest is history, as they
We
say.
rest
celebrate
is
it every year
history.
Yeah.
to this day.
So your families both ended up in
Yes.
Wakefield, Mass.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
kind of interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I mean, my family was all Cambridge and Somerville, back from when my people came over from Ireland, and then somehow they.
But your
and
mother
my,
was from...
Well, my father was the only one really who got out of that area, and he moved to Wakefield. So my mother's father was a the dog catcher for Wakefield. And she had been here back probably, a couple of generations. So I don't know how they met, quite honestly. But.
Well, it's interesting. So everybody I meet in my life, this is going to be really funny, and people who watch this podcast are going to get a laugh out of this. Every time we do an interview, someone has a connection to Somerville, and I don't know why. I don't know why it is, but it's true. And when I went
Kevin
to
Bacon.
when I went to college, I went to Northeastern, and my brother and I lived together because my Sicilian mother insisted that we live together. So we had apartments either in downtown Boston or Cambridge or Somerville or whatever, right? And one of us would have to commute. He was at Tufts and I was at Northeastern, so we were like, but anyway. And every time I do an interview, I cannot tell you, somebody has a connection to Somerville.
Really
I just spent 4th of July with a whole bunch of people from Somerville, right? That's really kind of funny.
Great. That's
So,
great.
so you got married when?
1971.
August 22nd, 1971.
And then along came, how many?
3.
3. Okay,
Yeah.
so give me a rundown. I know this is a quiz, Phil, so...
I'll tell you what I know.
Yeah,
She can fill you in on the
I want to
detail.
see who gets all the babies and the kids' birthdays right. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Melanie, our oldest daughter.
Melanie's the oldest.
5'11", at 11'11",
What year?
Dun, 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 dun. Here we go.
74.
Okay.
Then 3 years later, Michael, on June 3rd, 3 years later. And then Peter was 3 years later, on April 18th.
1980.
Yeah.
I know
Okay.
the times.
Okay, you were there?
She has the detail.
I was there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's great. All married, and how many grandchildren you got?
6.
Wow,
2
awesome.
each.
Yeah.
2 each, well, very uniform.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very
Yeah.
uniform.
4 boys, 2 girls.
So let's talk about how lucky you are. I think we talked a little bit about geography, and a lot of folks who know me, and I just actually saw my nephew's baby for the first time. Actually, they live in Ventura, California. They were out visiting, so we all went to Maine to finally meet Rosie, the new baby named after my mom.
Nice.
And yeah, geography's a pain. So tell me, where do the grandkids live?
They all live in Massachusetts now.
Unbelievably lucky.
Yeah, they are. They're all within an hour.
Hingham,
Really.
Westford, and Westwood.
Wow, that is
Yeah.
great. So
Yeah, so we're very lucky right now.
you are very lucky, right? But it wasn't always like that,
No.
you said.
No, well, when my oldest grandchild was just born, my son got an opportunity to work out in Indiana, which he took, and
We went out to dinner
we
with
tried to
Mike
talk
and
him
his wife. Owen was like 6 months old. And I had a list of like 30 reasons why not to take the job.
yeah,
We went to a 99,
yeah. We
and I
tried
read
to talk him
every
out of it.
one of them, trying to talk him out of it.
Yeah.
But he took the job.
Yeah, and so for the next 6 or 8 years, every vacation we had from work or every time we had off was out in Indiana.
It was basically
So-
every other month we would go for a
Yeah.
long weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah,
All right.
And
So you
coming
worked it
home-
out.
and it was
Oh my
great.
God.
You figured it out?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah, we did,
Well-
and they were
It wasn't
kind
great.
Yeah.
fun trips.
Yeah. I mean, geography is such a big issue. In fact, one of the things about grandparenting in the book, I sort of recount some stories from the last 50 years. Names are changed to protect the innocent, but we have had unbelievable experiences with some of our helicopter parents, that rip up their life here and they move to where the kids are, and then their job changes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they rip up their life there, and then they move again. It's really easy to vaporize a lot of money. Ripping up, selling your house, paying commissions, paying moving. So you
Yeah.
guys didn't get sucked into any of that.
No.
no.
That
No.
was smart.
No.
Smart.
And as a matter of fact, when they finally did move back here, we were all jumping for joy, and they lived with us for a bit so that they could take time, adjusted to the new job, find a new home, and all that stuff. So,
All right. So
we
since
had
we're
that.
talking about grandparenting, so 6 grandchildren, all close by.
right.
How did you handle the grandparent? Were you guys like super hands-on? As soon as the babies came along, you quit everything else and helped out with the parenting?
No. When my
Okay.
middle son is the one to have children first, and his wife stayed home. So they didn't need,
Oh, good.
you know.
Okay.
Yeah. But Melanie and her husband worked, so we did get involved with
Yeah.
Melanie's oldest. We did. but
We
it
had
was
him one
only
day a
like
week
once
for
week.
till he was 4 or 5.
Okay.
So that's what we did.
That was a big help,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, and it
Yeah.
wasn't daycare, it was grandma care.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
so that worked out because they were close by. They could drop the baby off and
Yes.
do their work thing.
Oh,
Okay.
we went there.
Oh, you
We
went
would
there.
go there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And because of that, one of my questions I ask every grandparent as we talk about this, because I've observed it from a distance, because being in the financial business, we see everybody's money, but you don't really kind of get a feeling for the lifestyle. So something has to give, I mean, so when the grandchildren came along, did that make you give up maybe travel time, play time, golf time, in exchange for grandparenting work?
Good question. I don't think so, but we incorporated them into some of the travel and some of the things that we did.
We probably didn't travel as much as we would have.
Something
Okay.
usually gives,
Yeah.
and that's a pretty
Right.
typical one, right?
Right.
But you kept working, didn't you, Phil, for quite a while?
I did. I just retired. Coming up in 2 years.
Yeah. So I my memory of it is that you didn't like stop everything, throw in the
No.
towel, and become a full-time grandpa.
No.
That's for sure.
No.
Okay. And Barb, tell me about your work history. I think yours was a little more flexible than Phil's, right?
Yeah. When we first were married, I was teacher. I taught 6th grade.
Okay.
And then I had Melanie. I never went back because I felt like I couldn't deal with the classrooms full of problems and issues and my own child. So I was lucky enough to be a stay-at-home mom. But I worked as a merchandiser, and I ended up in sales.
Okay.
And
That was much later on when Peter was.
Yeah. I stayed home until my youngest started school.
Yeah.
And then I got into sales, and I loved it. It was full time. But then when we were doing the babysitting thing, I'm thinking the company. Hope the company isn't listening.
Oh, you don't have to mention any names. It's okay. All right, we don't want to
Right,
nobody
right,
wants to
right.
get sued over these podcasts.
Right.
Believe me, we've had a few company bomb drops in here. So
But I would take my admin day and spend it at her home taking care of my grandson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was always interesting juggling. And later on, when I saw that Melanie's profession was really very demanding. She was a physical therapist,
Yeah.
and her hours were awful, and she'd work late at night, and she had 2 babies at home. So as the years went on and I was getting ready to retire, I asked her if she would be interested in taking over my job. And I would retire from it and she could move right in. And I told my boss, they did like me, I did well. And I told my boss, if you like me, Melanie is me on steroids.
I would agree with that. From
Which
knowing
is-
the both of them.
yes.
This I would agree with.
And
Okay.
you know her, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
But it is
that's
one of the
what
most
happened.
unusual, I will tell you, and again, you guys there's a few great things we're going to talk about here. I mean, one of the most unusual things, and of all of the couples that we work with over the years, not many people hand down their occupation, right? Or their
Right.
business to
Yeah.
their daughter. I mean, that
Yeah.
was very cool on your part.
Yeah.
It was, and I probably would have stayed on because
Mm-hmm.
it was a good job for me, flexible. I loved it, but I just felt it would fit her lifestyle so well, and she just slid right into
Yeah.
it. So they're great, and we keep talking about the Indiana grandchildren and Melanie's grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
My youngest lives in the South Shore,
Okay.
Peter, with
Hingham?
his 2 girls, Hingham.
Yeah. Okay.
So the reason we weren't, when they were little, we weren't as close. They had a fabulous nanny,
Okay.
and it was tough to get there. It
So,
would be
yeah.
like an hour.
Oh, it
2
still is
hours
tough to get there. From
and
where
get home.
I mean, anybody
Yeah.
in the north, anybody who knows anything about Massachusetts, by the way, it's 3 countries. There's North Shore,
Yes.
South Shore, and everywhere else.
Right.
Right.
And
Correct.
it is a pain
Yes.
in the traffic
It is.
Yeah.
It
to
is.
get there, and if you hit it at the wrong time, down at the Braintree Split, You
Right,
can kill an
exactly.
hour
Yeah.
looking at the old, shopping center and then just waiting for the traffic to
Right.
clear. So yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you managed it. It sounds like you managed
Yes.
that part
Yeah.
really well.
Yes.
Right. Had some grandparenting time. Took the kids on trips or whatever.
Yeah, and also I'll tell you that for me, I mean, once the kids got old enough to hit a baseball or kick a ball, I mean, that was it. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it was every single weekend
Yeah.
for many years.
It's-
just going to games.
Maybe
I mean,
it still is.
oh yeah, it's still
It
of course,
still is.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that
Staying on
was
the sidelines,
that was
watching them play soccer
Absolutely.
and watching them play.
fun for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
great. So let's talk about you have this huge family, right? And which is great. And everybody's like, 10 fingers, 10 toes. Nobody needs like any special help. The things that you're doing is just because you love it and you're doing it. Also, you spent a lot of time and effort on doing financial work, and I know that because actually I was involved in this.
Yes.
And it's not free, it's not easy, and it's also like driving to Hingham, a pain in the neck. So, and I want to just ask you because not everybody gets driven to put their financial house in order. Was it the coming of the grandkids that really promoted this? Because did you have all your financial ducks in order when you first started having children? Were you always great planners like that, or is this a new thing?
All right, I'll answer that quickly. She's the financial planner. Okay, so I could have been without her. I could have been a real spender, but we developed a pretty good financial plan early on. So that being said,
Barbara's gonna have an opinion about this.
no, that's what I was going to pass it off right now to get her opinion on that.
Well, I was very frugal. So he did well, and I did well locking it up.
Yeah.
So by the time the kids came along and needed, not the grandkids, they were pretty, the three sets of parents did very well. But when push came to shove and they needed help a little later with purchasing a home, redoing a home or whatever, we were able to really help.
Yeah.
Well,
And I think the
Big
philosophy was that don't hide everything away until you die and then they get a lump. No, our philosophy was really if they were in need and we had it, they got it.
Yeah. And the reason I asked the question is not everybody, you should know, 40% of the people in the United States have no will, no estates, no trust, and they just don't do any of that stuff, okay? And it's driven by a few things, and this is one of the, the reasons that we do this, because if you were to speak to other grandparents and just kind of give them a little hint or a little bit, spending, it's time and effort, like doing your trust work and doing this, it's time and effort and money, but nobody really does that unless they have folks that they care about. Because it makes it better for them.
Right.
Right? It's a downstream thing. You're not really doing
Yeah.
this stuff for yourself. It's not like you're going to go sail around the world in your trust. It's like buying your own sailboat. But you've invested a lot of effort in that, and it's got to feel good because you were able to help them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
And
For sure.
help them while you're alive. You can see it. And I know a little bit, and the reason that I invited the McGuires into is I have been involved with some of the family, and I know how difficult it is when a growing family is like Mother Hubbard falling out of the windows of a house and they need to do an expansion or they need to buy another house or something, and it creates a lot of angst.
Yeah.
And for the grandparents to help a little bit, actually chapter 6 or 7 in the grandparenting book is about co-family real estate opportunities, and helping on real estate is a big deal, and it's like it is a very immediate thing. That's why I asked if you saw the recent real estate improvement on one of your kids' house that I know
Right.
about.
You're right.
Right. Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be like a rush, like a
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
positive rush
Yeah.
for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so let me ask another thing about this. When you're thinking about the children and the grandchildren, of the stress points that come up that need help, one of them that we just talked about is real estate. Tell me how you focused on education with your kids and how you think about education with your grandchildren. Because these are big, scary things right now. I mean, right now in American society, the three biggest things that parents worry about: first-time home buyers, they're all like apoplectic about the price of houses.
Of course.
I'll give you my perspective in a minute on that. The second thing is the outrageous and unbelievable cost of education. Right? So tell me about those stress things and whether you think about them.
Well, for us, all the kids are, I mean, we kind of pushed UMass, and they all really wanted to go to UMass, quite honestly.
Yeah, and you know what my mother gave when she lost my father, she gave each of her grandchildren $10,000. This is like way back.
Yeah.
And we invested that. And because of that $10,000, we were able to send the four kids.
Well, we were ahead of the game, when we did that. Yeah.
Because education was important.
And it wasn't, I mean, when I went to school, it was $400 a semester.
Yeah.
But I mean, but UMass was a great deal back then. And
the three of them came out of UMass
and they all loved it.
Very well.
Yeah.
Three of them.
So education
but today
was
is
important
much
to your
different.
parents, and so education was important to you,
Right.
and so you've made education important to you. Is that something you've handed down to your kids? Are they super focused on educating your grandkids?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
And so let's see. So your grandkids are too young to be.
Well,
One of
no.
them's
One's
next year.
done all the circuit, looked
Here
at
we
all the
go.
schools, and he's a senior next year, so he's narrowed it down to his top, 30 or 40.
Yeah, right.
You know, it's
Yes.
Does
so-
he share with Grandpa some of these numbers that are?
Oh, we've talked
scaring
about it.
the
We talked
daylights
about
out
it.
of
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. For him, it's. I mean, he's pretty focused, I think, in what he wants to do, something with the environment, and so he's looked at schools that had programs in that. And when you say the prices are just nuts.
It is one of the biggest stress points,
Yeah.
and again, it's a great place for grandparents to like jump in a little bit. There are some super great provisions about that, which we talk about. I mean, grandparents that have the ability can write checks for tuition all day long. It's not even included in the gift tax calculation. You can write checks directly to schools, and of course there's gifting and all kinds of stuff. But it's a real stress reducer for parents. I mean, when they have a couple of kids, especially. I mean, 2 kids going to college. If they pick private colleges, I mean, it's $1 million. It's $500 to $1 million. It's craziness. It's like a huge number.
Yeah.
Okay,
It
so, but education is important to you. So it sounds to me like you're focused on getting all these grandkids through college, one way or the other.
Well, yeah, and their parents are
If they wanna
doing. Their parents are doing pretty well. So I mean, I think that they're not looking to us for that kind of help.
But it's a team effort.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
if they reach out to you and say, "Grandma, I'm a little short." In fact, one of our clients and great friends runs the Last Mile Foundation, and it's Ruth Farmer, Last Mile Foundation. For those of you that haven't looked it up or heard about it, and all she does, she runs a big foundation. All she does is help kids get through college that have been able to pay for the first 3 years or so, and then they run out of money.
Yep.
Wow.
It's called the Last Mile.
Yeah.
And it's a spectacular, like, by way of disclosure, we made some money for them, whatever, but they are committed to helping kids get through,
Oh, that's
because you wouldn't believe how many kids run out of money.
Yeah.
Like, they run out of money, like literally, and that's why they call us Last
Yeah.
Mile.
Yeah.
They might have 2 semesters to go or 3 semesters to go. And so this is also a great place for grandparents to jump in. So it's education, housing costs. Now, how did things go down when your parents aged? So when your parents were aging, were you ever in that sandwich generation where you had parents to take care of and children? How did it work out for you?
The only
Well,
one
yeah.
was my mother.
Right.
His parents lived married in their house and passed away from their house.
Yeah.
My father died sort of young. He was like 64. So it was just my mother. But financially, we were not responsible for her. She did the whole nursing home thing, but
Yeah.
she was covered.
Okay.
She was covered.
So you never got to sit.
No.
You never got what we call sandwiched.
No.
So you were
No.
right. Okay. And this is like another big stress point, by the way.
Oh,
And
yeah.
especially if you're watching any things that are currently going on as of July 2025 in America. I mean, this is a very volatile situation, very, very tense situation, right?
Right.
And you guys are aging like I am. We're all in the same time zone here, you know. And so we think about like this issue with our kids. So do they come to you over 4th of July and say, "You're not living with me, Phil"? Right?
Not yet. They haven't said it.
Or the flip side is, I have to tell you, so we have had more multi-generational real estate transactions in the last 5 years than ever, which includes people building, they in Massachusetts, they just liberalized the ADU rules so that you can build additional dwelling units, either on your house, attached to your house.
My sister's doing it.
Yeah, I will tell you, and this is a very big legislative win. You got to give credit to the governor of the state of Massachusetts for doing this, that they just said, hey, this is nuts. If families want to solve this problem, right? I mean, we've done them in Framingham, and we've done them in Virginia, and we've done them in different places. Massachusetts, you're going to see a boom in ADU building. Wow. So that you might be building a little addition onto one of these houses in Hingham or something, Phil, so you can kind of age gracefully. It's the greatest intergenerational financial sort of benefit in history. Instead of enriching a nursing home, you're enriching your kids.
Right.
It's almost like back to the Asian way of doing things, where the grandparents nobody's ever put out.
Barb, in book 2 on longevity is the Stanford study on longevity, and a lot of that study, very big, 18 pile study, is the blue zones. And you've heard of the blue zones, which are Okinawa, Nova Scotia, Sardinia, where people live a long time. And one of the reasons they live a long time is the social connection and the family connection and the multi-generational housing, and they all basically stay together, and they don't sort of put their aging parents into human file cabinets, nursing homes and stuff like that, and they age together. And by the way, it's economically extremely favorable to invest your money in your kids' properties. We just had a couple sell their house and build a beautiful modern 1-floor addition on their daughter's home. Easy entry, bathrooms and doors and whatever, and their own little drive. I mean, really. And when they're gone, they've enhanced the value of their daughter's property significantly.
Yeah.
So,
and I understand they can, with the new laws, they can actually rent that as a...
After the family member is deceased and out.
Right.
So in other words, it's absolutely guaranteed if it's a family, if you're going to build it and a family member is going to occupy it, they don't even ask a question anymore. Like, boom, you're approved. Okay. There's some things you have to go through if you're going to build it to rent immediately, but renting after your family member passes away is a layup.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So you're adding a little passive income source for them,
Right.
and so imagine what happens if you build a little condo attached to your kid's house. I mean, and then it's all to them. So anyway, it's a little white collar crime. Okay, so you didn't have the situation, and tell me, when you think about this with your kids, now you've got 3 different kids, so they don't say, "Mom, you're going to live with us the rest of your life."
No.
Barb, no, you're kidding. Oh,
No.
I'm surprised.
Well,
No.
I don't think they can even think that way in the future yet. I don't think they...
I think the only one that would do that now is still got 2 little kids who are a handful. So that doesn't. We quite honestly, we love our house, and hopefully stay healthy. That's
Feet
where
first. He's a feet first guy.
Yeah,
You're living feet first.
Yeah, right. That's pretty much right.
Well, aging at home, I have to say, aging in place is like the #1 focus of this big MIT study by Dr. Joe Coughlin at MIT's Aging Lab. I mean, he just wrote this unbelievably great article about how now, because of technology, you can have every single thing you need brought to your house automatically. You can have a driverless car pick you up and take you off for an ice cream cone if you want. I was just coming back from visiting family in Vancouver. I saw the first self-driving wheelchairs that go up to the, when people are getting out of the airplane, right? They go up. There's nobody pushing them. They're automatic. They go up. The elders sit in them. They say, "Take me to, the gate 28," and it goes, self-driving wheelchairs. Okay, this is the future, right? So take me to the ball game to see my granddaughter.
Right.
You're gonna have the street.
That's right.
So anyway, that technology advancement is a big deal.
Yeah.
So all right,
you said one of them still has 2 little kids, so don't say anything. but I don't know which one you're talking about. So I'm just, it's just, we'll
Well,
talk
I was
about
what
it
I was
after.
saying is the only ones who would take us in, who would actually take us in.
Break. We've had a little bit of break, and now we're back with the McGuires again. And we're talking about aging, aging and the kids. This is a huge topic, and it's funny to talk about it because at our age, we can see it. There's this old Sicilian expression that you don't reach in your pocket for the coins until you see the toll booth coming, right? So we see the toll booth coming, right? I mean, but our children, you know, my daughter's 40, my son's 28. You can't even
kids,
picture
yeah.
it. Can't even picture it.
Yeah.
Doesn't even like
Right,
you know,
right.
right. So so you can see it, and tell me. So your plan is to age at home. You want to age at home. You're into health and fitness. You get it. You're keeping up. By the way, like my wife Linda, who is very interested in free weights and keeping up muscles. Right. She always tells me, "I'm losing muscle mass." You're not losing weight, Paul. You're losing muscle mass. That's not a good thing, right? For our skiing and everything else.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you're still working a little bit with
Yes.
people on health and fitness.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you love it.
I love it. I love it, and they love it. And the classes are huge. We have a good time. The music, I use all oldies, so it's great. It's just great fun.
Yeah.
Cardio and strength training, weights and bands and balls.
So
Yeah.
I think that I'm not sure exactly because I'm sort of familiar with what you used to do, but you've always been to health and fitness,
Always.
right? Right. And so you made a career out of it,
Yeah.
right? And which is
Yes.
why you guys both look great, right? And people can just kind of guess at your age. I mean, you sort of look like you're going to go a long, long time. So the kids have a long time to build their ADUs for you to live in, right? So what would you do differently? One of the things that that we're doing with our podcasts and all is for people that are grandparenting today, that are in it. You're in it up to your eyeballs. Bunch of grandkids, you've been through the whole thing, right? What would you do differently, if anything, looking back now? Let's talk about what you learned as the kids came along. Is there anything, would you have worked longer or shorter? Would you have quit working sooner? Would you basically have done anything differently?
I don't know. You know, when I was, you know, my first career was as you know, I had a group of stores in the retail stores in the Boston area, and my kids all worked for me until they were like mid-teens, and so that was I think that gave them a picture into what that kind of life is. And you know, you have to work for a living. Nobody gives you anything for free, because we never really handed new cars off to them as they got their license. You know, I mean, my daughter will tell you that.
Tremendous work ethic.
Yeah.
The three of them are just driven, just very energetic about their work, and
Well, that's a big inheritance. That's you guys. That's you guys.
Well, they saw us. I guess they saw us working hard, but still always had lots of time for family.
Yeah.
You know, nightly dinners every single night. My youngest wrote this thing when he was in school about, it's not what do you want for dinner, it's how do you want your chicken. So, you know,
That was a
apparently
family
I
joke.
cooked a lot of chicken.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was a lot of family time, but they always saw us focused and working.
Yeah.
And saving, you know, being frugal.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about that. So the things that you've handed down to your kids, it sounds like financial responsibility, which, by the way, is the kind of thing that we do see passed down from generation to generation. I mean, it just happens to be, if your mom was frugal enough to save money to give to her grandchildren, that DNA, whether it got into you, whether you knew it or not, right? So you just got the frugality gene, right? Maybe Phil didn't get it in his family, but you got it, right? And then it seems like, from the evidence that I've seen,
You know.
from what I've seen,
yes.
that frugality gene, but you know, not crazy. I mean, I think frugal's a good term. You know, not like depriving the kids, but
Right.
you know, just being careful, right? And
Right.
being like maybe a little, you know, like watchful of the nickels, you know, so that the dollars
Yep.
take care of themselves.
Right.
Right? So
Yep.
that's a thing you handed down. How about the planning thing? I know from my personal experience with you guys that you did a bunch of planning and you spent a lot of time and money and effort, and you should be congratulated for that. And then some of your kids appeared on the scene. And they also seem to have inherited the let's get our financial house in order
Right.
gene, you know, legal work and financial stuff and all that. So is that something that you drove, or did they just dream that up on their own?
Well, I encouraged it early on and kind of harped on it through the years. So I think that they're both, I mean, some of it came from me for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotta
the
get
money
that
stuff
credit.
is important. I will tell you, so we deal with a lot of families that, by the way, in America, where society works, you can inherit $100 million and still become broke, right? Or you can inherit nothing and become very successful. And it sounds like, I mean, you know, you had pretty average, middle class upbringing, you know, hard workers. Nobody handed you like a big chunk of money and 5 stores to run when you were 20 years old or something like
Right.
that. Right? So the kids have they got the entrepreneurial gene? Because I think I haven't sort of detected that.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, we talked.
I've been, I kind of bring it up in conversations with my oldest grandson, and he's not biting.
Interesting.
Because I would like to see one of them do that. I think that's where the most, I found not just success, but personal satisfaction, you know, being my own boss and having my own business. And none of my kids chose to go that route.
Interesting. So they
yeah.
saw you living
Yeah.
with the world of real entrepreneurism,
Yeah.
and they didn't take the bait. They
That's right.
became, by the way, in my book, I just finished the 3rd book on this about wealth building. I work backwards, by the way, from the boomers to the X-Geners down to the young kids. And it is true, by the way, in the picture of American affluence and economic class, the most affluent people in America are business owners,
Yeah.
period, without question,
Right.
People who start their own business, run their own business, and are successful, you know. As you know, we just sort of transitioned our firm after 50 years to some of our young partners. There's not a lot of businesses that stay in business 50 years. There's a
Right.
lot of failure, so there's a lot of risk to it, right? And I'm sure you had a lot of maybe worry beads or whatever when you were in business.
Sure.
And maybe the kids got a little bit of that anxiety and said, I don't think I want to be as
That's
nervous
possible.
as Dad was some months or weeks or
Wow, yeah.
when the cash flow reports came out or whatever.
I got to read the book, I guess. Yeah.
yeah. It's interesting. I think entrepreneurship is great, but it's kind of oversold. I don't think it's for everybody. My son and daughter both are entrepreneurs, but you know, I think they just got the gene. You know? Right. I mean, your kids, from what I've seen, are super successful employee. And by the way, you can build a lot of wealth just being an employee and saving and investing like crazy. And you can get wealthy in 5 different ways, as the book says. So you don't have to be an entrepreneur, but I found it like super fun. Sounds to me like maybe every time you talk to your grandson, maybe you got to keep dripping on him a little bit.
Well, that's what I have been doing. I just, but he's again, he's got a focus on the environment, and I think that's where he wants to go. Maybe it'll turn into something like that. I don't know. I don't know what the managing the environment going forward is going to look like. So.
Well, if you knew that, you wouldn't be sitting here with me.
I know, right?
I mean, I got to tell you. I mean, there's nobody in this room, including our friend over here, who's doing all this work. Yeah, I mean, predicting the future is where things are going to go. I was mentioning that we're doing some social media, you know, and people are following us. They don't know that a lot of the work is done in the Philippines, or it's done in India, or it's done in England. We have 3 different global employees doing this stuff. So the kids might come visit you from their business in India, that they've opened up in environmental controls.
Right.
All right, so we talked about your great history and the things that you've done. So how old were you when you stopped working?
75.
Yeah, 75. And so you're really a part of the longevity economy. I mean, would you have ever considered working longer? I know you love what you did and you worked a long time. I mean, the whole age 65 retirement thing is like ancient history. Like, who
Right.
stops working at 65
Right.
years old, right? Right? Would you have worked longer? Did you want to stop?
Well, in my case, I had a good job. I had a small consulting company, and I was contracted to a pharmaceutical company, and I ran into a roadblock there, and it was a personality thing, and so I could have continued on another contract, but I chose not to renew because of that. And at the time, doing some soul searching, that in itself made me kind of say, it's time. So they say you know when it's time,
Right.
and
And you get to a
Yeah.
point where you say, I don't need this stress every day.
yeah.
If it's a terrible conflict with someone, you just don't need that.
But you did one of the things that's actually also back to the blue zones. You did the classic, third act, which is, by the way, what I'm doing.
Yeah.
A lot of folks who know me know that this is my third
Right.
act. I mean,
Right.
going from something that's a daily grinded out activity thing
Yep.
to something that's fun. I mean, we're actually having fun here, and we've been
Yeah.
having actually fun with all this stuff, including the grind of writing 3 books, which was a
Right.
little bit of a grind. But you did a classic third act. You went from something that you were doing for money and for work to something that you just know a lot about, you enjoy. And I can just tell from you talking about the music and the people, right? That's actually like the most popular part of the longevity economy is that people. We actually just did an interview with a guy who never wants to stop. In fact, he's 92.
Oh,
He
that's
just
awesome.
started his, I think, 20-something business or something. And all the years I worked with him, he actually was the consultant that I hired in my business 20 years ago to help me build our transition team to the point that we transitioned recently. And he's a really interesting guy. And I asked him, all the years we worked together, he never used the R word one time. He doesn't talk about retirement.
Right.
He said, why would I ever retire?
Yeah.
I love what I'm doing.
I buy that.
And I think you might yet find your third
Yeah.
act.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It could be professional grandparenting. I want to thank the McGuires. We actually had sort of a great, wide-ranging sort of discussion about their super successful superstar grandparenting history. In addition to having a great careers for themselves and setting their kids up with great lives,
Great
right?
marriage.
And great marriages, right? Their own marriage and a whole bunch of marriages. They're very successful at this, and they can't stop smiling, as you can see. I mean, Barbara has been grinning the entire time, right? So she'll be the star of this little broadcast. But of the things that we have learned from our grandparents, there is no substitute for helping the kids when they need help, being smart enough with your own finances so you can help them. This is very much like the airplane analogy. You have to put your oxygen mask on before you help others, and that's the reason why we promote our grandparent people to be super financially responsible and super set up so that they can put the oxygen mask on the kids and the grandkids when they need it.
Right.
Just like the McGuires. And we want to thank them for coming, and I'll see you next time on Smart Financial Lifestyles.